大家好啊，我名係 Erica，我係今日大家嘅 host for 今日呢一個 sharing。唔知大家聽唔聽到我講嘢咧？聽到 OK，我見到 Will up 頭 OK great good。咁咧我哋可能等多1分鐘，等多幾位同學入嚟。咁喺其他同學入嚟，before everyone comes in，我要講英文。Apparently 我個 presentation 應該係英文嘅。So as we're waiting for all of our other classmates to join in, please take a look at the share screen right now and check in. So you can use your cell phone to scan the QR code or type in the short URL, tinyurl.com/HKTech300. And you can check in there. Just double check, make sure your name's there. And every time we'll record this. This is really for administrative purposes. CityU requires that we share with them the students who have attended this class. And also, and the second thing we need your help on is to rename your Zoom name to reflect on your group number. Your group number is in the check-in spreadsheet. And then your name and your team name. So when we are talking to you over Zoom, we'll know who we're talking to. And finally, if you have a moment, we'll have an opportunity to do this now and do this later. That is to create an account on the Cocoon Online Network. That way you can get access to today's recording. You can get access to all of our online materials and our pitch template. Okay, let's see. We have 40 people in class today, and we have a chat. Okay, so Mancy, my co-host, is sharing a bunch of links in our chat box as well, so you don't have to type anything. You can just click in there and get access to check in, to update your Zoom name, and also to create an online account to log into the Cocoon Online platform. All the materials that will be available from this class. Now, for those of you who are just joining and you're wondering, hey, what is this pitch training program about? Well, today is a quick intro and orientation to the class. And what you're going to expect from the next 2 months of this class is to learn how to pitch your idea to investors. And our goal is for everybody in this class, 100% of the teams, to participate in the Hong Kong Tech 300 seed funding application. Yes, that's 100%. We want everybody in this class to go and pitch at the Hong Kong Tech 300 seed fund application. There is 100,000 Hong Kong dollars there for seed funding. And through this class with us, what you will learn is how to put together the perfect pitch to get 100,000 Hong Kong dollars in seed funding. So 12:06, I think I'm going to get started. I think all the classmates who are going to be here are here already. So first things first, it's a joy to be with you. And I look forward to learning from all of you in this program. My name is Erica Ma, and I am the co-founder of Cocoon, and I will be one of your hosts in this program. Now, before we start today's class, I'd like for y'all to really focus your mind on creating the perfect pitch for your business. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and breathe. For the next 30 seconds, I'm going to give you a quote, and I want you to think about it. Just close your eyes and breathe. And the quote is, whatever you're thinking, think bigger. Whatever you're thinking, think bigger. All right, you can open your eyes now. So don't forget, that's the inspiration for today. Whatever you're thinking, think bigger, because trust me, your investors are going to be looking for that from you and your team. So I'm going to quickly introduce myself. My name is Erica, and I'm a third generation entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship really is in my DNA. We started Cocoon in 2012, almost 10 years ago now. And, we've seen over 1,000 teams, and we've invested in over 18 companies globally. And I have met a lot of great pitches, and I've met a lot of horrible pitches, and I'm here to share with you everything I know about pitching. And after me, Nancy, a slide. Other than myself, at Cocoon, we will also have Roland, who's also our managing partner at Cocoon Ignite Ventures, to join us. He will be sharing his expertise also from his public fundraising and equity capital markets experience. He's also a professional lawyer, so a lot of our portfolio companies will ask for his advice on structuring and a lot of important terms when it comes to talking with investors. And of course, we'll also have Nancy, who is our senior project manager at Cocoon. Nancy has hosted over 97 pitch nights or pitching events at Cocoon and reviewed over 1,000 applications. So she's definitely seen good and bad pitches. So we'll share everything we know with you in this class. So before we begin, I'm just going to spend like 3 minutes to tell you what is Cocoon? Why do we have the honor to be invited by City U to teach this class and share our learnings with you guys. So at Cocoon, we have 3 main pillars. Number 1 is community. Our community is also a Google for Startup partner. So Google for Startup have partners all around the world, and we run a program with them called 92 Express, where we bring entrepreneurs into the greater Bay Area, and we'll introduce them to the right manufacturers, the right investors, and right distributors to build IoT. And we have a strong focus in women founders because we observe there's a gap for women founders to be building hardware-related startups. We also do Cocoon Pitch. We've hosted over 97 pitch events. And over 500 teams have presented, and they've collectively raised over 7.2 billion Hong Kong dollars in venture capital. That is more than 700 million US dollars in venture capital. And for that reason, when we saw a lot of funding come through the startups that were pitching at Cocoon, we started our second pillar, which is Cocoon Ignite Ventures. We went out to raise limited partner money, investor money. So my job not only is to write checks for startups, my job is also to go raise money into our fund to go write checks for startups. So I definitely am often in the pitching mode. I'm always pitching investors, whether it's our portfolio companies or pitching them our fund. And we've been investing for about 5 years now, and we've invested in 18 companies. 4 are based in Hong Kong, the rest are around the world. We're mostly focused in B2B technologies, technologies that enable traditional businesses to optimize and increase productivity. For example, we invested in a chat platform in Pakistan. We invested in a healthcare company in the Bay Area, in California. We're always looking for businesses where they can really impact existing ecosystems. And our third pillar is a charity. It's called the Cocoon Foundation. We work with the Hong Kong Jockey Club Charities Trust. And we've built out a program called the Jockey Club Cocoon Student Training and Entrepreneurship Program. And we're currently in 40 local schools and have taught over 10,000 secondary school students how entrepreneurship is a life skill. We think that you can use this skill set and apply it in school, in your internship, in your first job, in your first startup. So this is a life skill that we spend a lot of time studying and teaching, and we're continuously learning within our team as well. All right, so I think that's what we have about what is Cocoon. So let me tell you what the goals are for this program, what should you expect? Like if you're going to spend time with us, I want you to take value out of this. So you don't feel like you're wasting any time joining this Zoom and rewatching this recording. So first things first, you're taking this class to learn how to pitch your ideas to investors. That's what you're here to do. Learn how to pitch your idea to investors. And our program is going to be both online and offline. So today's session is on Zoom. We'll also have offline sessions at Cocoon where you can bring your ideas, your pitch in, and we're happy to work with you on all the details on putting together the right business plan, putting together the right product market fit statement, and so forth. So look at the calendar, which we'll share later in today's orientation, so you know which class you want to sign up for and also which class to show up for. Because for the online sessions, it's easy. You can just log in. But for the offline sessions, we require that you sign up so we know who's showing up and we can make time and make space to really look at your startup with you. Number two, as I mentioned in the beginning, we want 100%, all of you guys, everybody in this class, to be able to record a 5-minute investor pitch. We're going to record your investor pitch and make sure that you have a version you can use down the road. And also, we hope that 100% of you all will go and apply and pitch at the Hong Kong 300 Tech Seed Fund application. And that's for 100,000 Hong Kong dollars. So that's something that is our goal for this class. And there's also another bonus for the best performing team. You will receive a $5,000 cash award. And this is awarded to you by CityU. So at the end of the course, we will submit all your video pitch recordings and CityU will review them. We will also provide them with our scoring. We'll be scoring each of your pitches based on what investors will be looking for, and they will make the final assessment on the best pitch. Okay, so how do we make this happen? What do we need to do in this 2 months in order to get you ready for the perfect pitch? So we've put together the Cocoon pitch template for you. So this pitch template will be available after today's class on the Cocoon online platform. So you can download it or you can just go and click on it and view it. We've put together the 9 elements that you must have in your pitch deck to make sure that you represent your company in the best light. So the 9 elements, we will give you an overview today, but at every class, what we're going to do is deep dive into each element, because, you know, when it comes to a pitch, you only have 5 minutes, but actually within each slide, there's a lot of structure and a lot of depth in terms of explaining, like, how is this startup different from the 100 other ones that are doing the same thing. So the 9 elements include the name and one-liner. I know the name and one-liner doesn't seem like a thing, it's just the first page, but trust me, when your investor or your or the grant provider or the funding provider has seen 1,000 teams, your one-liner matters. And then it comes to the problem. You know, what is the problem you're solving? A lot of teams show up and tell us what the solution is, but we're like, wait, but what is the problem? Are people willing to pay to solve for this problem? And then we'll look for the core innovation. Now, because we're in the CityU program, we expect a lot of you folks will have some science or technology related research. So that's also something we want to showcase, right? Like, you know, if there are 10 people building virtual banks and there are 100 people building crypto exchanges, how is yours different? What is the core innovation behind your startup? And then there is it's always, when it comes to investors' returns, they're looking at how scalable your product is. And of course, they want to know, how well do you know your competitive landscape? And also, what's your business model? You know, how do you plan to charge for the value you create? So all these and more we will be sharing in each of the classes, both online and offline classes. We'll step through each of these slides very slowly. And I'm going to quickly remind you to access this template. this Cocoon pitch template, you simply go to the Cocoon online platform, and the link to it is available in the chat box right now. It's the cocoon.mn.co. And once you log in, you just need to look for the Hong Kong Tech 300 registration box, and you register, and Mancy will admit you in it, and you will be able to download your materials. So today in our first class, we are going to talk about the name of your startup and your one-liner. What do you have to think about when you come up with your name and one-liner? So here is a logo, and I'm going to ask y'all to, anybody who wants to unmute and tell me, anybody know what this logo is?
Airbnb.
Yes, who's that? Emma. Hey Emma, how are you? Thanks for sharing. Have you used Airbnb before? Like, if you had to come up with a one-liner for it, what would the one-liner be for this business?
I download the apps, but I haven't used it. I forgot. But yeah,
Cool.
Just
No problem. No problem. Now, I have used Airbnb, and it's basically me booking a hotel, but instead of a hotel, it's someone else's home, and I'm renting it from them for like 3 days, 5 days. It's cheaper than hotels, and you have a kitchen, and it feels more like a home. And anyone else have tried Airbnb and want to try to give a shot for its one-liner? What would you give it as a one-liner if you had to give Airbnb a one-liner? You can unmute and speak up, guys. Wendy, you there? Wendy Yao? You want to unmute? Okay. Rex Chan. Hi. Okay.
Maybe I share.
Okay, go for it. Is it
Yes,
Nino?
it is a one-stop solution for finding a home for our short trip.
Oh, I love that. Great one. Is this Nino? Sorry, who just shared that?
I'm Nino, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Nino. That was a really good one. I really appreciate your sharing. Yes, and this is what the class is going to be. We're going to try a lot of things, and we're going to try to come up with ideas together. So definitely, chip in like Nino. It's really helpful. And Emma, thank you. So in the next slide, you will see kind of what their official one was when they first started. Airbnb's one-liner is book rooms with locals rather than hotels. So in the short one-liner, they actually point out a couple important things. Number one, it's booking with hotels is sort of expensive, and it's not necessarily the best experience. And when you book with locals, it's not only cheaper, but you have a better experience. Nancy, can we go to the next slide? All right, so that's Airbnb, book rooms with locals rather than hotels. So Nancy put together a template for y'all to come up with your logo, name, and one-liner. So here it is. Take a look at this template. My company, in this case Cocoon, is developing a offering to help an audience to solve a problem with a special secret sauce. And we built one for this class for you. And this is what it is on slide 21. My company, Cocoon, is developing a training and mentoring program to help Hong Kong Tech 300 City University students to build a convincing and precise pitch with an online platform that encourages peer-to-peer support. All right, so that's sort of the structure there. And this is what the slide looks like. So when it comes to your pitch presentation, your investor or whoever's sitting on the investment committee is going to be like, okay, tell me about this company name. So you're going to have to make sure your name is really clear and your one-liner, one sentence to describe why you do what you do, how you do it, and what you do. And then of course there's your name and your title. Like, why you? Like, why are you responsible for creating this pitch? So on to slide 23, I want to unpack this one-liner and name slide a little bit more. So can you explain why your business is important? Why does the world need this? I'm sure someone else have thought of this before, but why now? Why you and why this business? And can you explain how you solve this problem? Does it include the solution in the one-liner? And how do you stand out? How do you stand out? You know, again, if you are trading cryptos or you're trading NFTs and there are 500 other platforms out there doing that, how does your platform do it differently? And of course, when it comes to your investors, they want to remember you. Investors are always investing in you, not just your company, they're investing in you. You want them to remember your name, because a lot of times they'll be like, oh, remember that company that we saw that we kind of liked? Wait, but who was the person? So make sure you put your name on the title slide so they'll remember who they're supposed to call back and talk to. And also, what do you know that others don't? What do you care about that makes you different? Again, why are you creating this presentation for your investors? Typically, it's the founder, but it doesn't have to always be the founder. It could be the chief scientist, it could be the head of design, but you must be pitching this to your investors for a reason. And it has to be about something that you have that other people doesn't have that makes this a special pitch. It's not just any sales pitch. Okay, so now it's 12:24. I've done quite a bit of talking. So I'm gonna pause now and we're gonna give you guys about 3 minutes to come up with your one-liner. And if you already have the name of your company, the name of your company, and also your name and title, to put that on your title slide. So you have 3 minutes to put together your title slide. And I'm gonna start the timer now. Now, once you have your title slide made, please post it on the Cocoon Online network. That way, all of the classmates here will be able to share what they've come up with, and you guys can like or comment or support each other. Again, this is going to be a peer-to-peer learning experience. It's not just going to be a host talking and then you guys doing your thing. So make sure after you come up with your title slide, post it onto the Cocoon Online network so everybody can learn from you and you can learn from others and share with each other. Okay, so 3 minutes starts now. All right, guys, last 30 seconds. All right, so that was 3 minutes. I hope that was a little time for you to get going on this logo, name, and one-liner. And please post your creation or your current one, the name of your business and your one-liner on the Cocoon Online Network. And we'll be going in there with your classmates to check it out and like it and share comments and learn from each other. Now, in this course, what we've done for you that's different with other classes that we've done before is to invite a founder to come into as many of our classes as possible to share with you their pitch, to find out what does a good pitch sound like. The more good pitches you hear, the better your pitch will be. So today we're very, very lucky. We're able to invite one of our very good friends, Victor Liang, who is a founder, a co-founder and COO of Genie, which is a financial technology platform based out of Hong Kong. Victor is one of Asia's best entrepreneurs. And without further ado, I'm going to turn the stage over to Victor to share with you about Genie.
Hi, thank you. So kind, Erica, for you to invite me and to call me one of Asia's best entrepreneurs. So thanks so much. I'll come anytime for compliments like that. But I know I'm here to pitch you guys. So is that do you want me to go do that right away, or anything I can do?
Please, maybe just a few lines, maybe just a little bit of background about like how you got started, and then tell us about Genie, because I think it's great for teams to really hear good pitches from great founders as they're building their own.
Okay. So you want me to tell you a little bit about myself and then do the pitch, because it's I have a presentation lined up. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Presentation works great too.
Okay, yeah, we'll just go to the presentation. I'm going to treat you guys like you're real investors, so I'm not going to dilly down. I'm going to go straight into it.
Awesome.
Yeah, let me get my window up here. Yeah, all right. Can everyone see my screen? Very good.
Yes, awesome.
Yes.
Okay, well, just a little bit about us. Genie's goal is to help businesses grow. And what we're experts in is in financial data, and we've built financial management tools that empower over 100,000 people and businesses all around the world. The problem is actually really huge, right? Is that finance, the world of numbers, the world of money is still so reliant on spreadsheets for people to crunch numbers. And this is the source of some major problems like fraud, right? Even big accounting companies like KPMG and EY can't really, stop fraudulent activity despite all their audits. Companies are spending hours and weeks of time creating financial models on Excel and Google Sheets, and it's completely inefficient. And that leads to people having really big difficulty making good investments. And a lot of times, because of these financial numbers and these spreadsheets, people make horrible investments, losing millions of dollars, billions of dollars every year. And most importantly, for businesses, big and small, running the numbers to determine whether you have enough money in the bank account, to determine your cash flow, is one of the biggest problems that entrepreneurs can face. So these are just some of the problems that we face in our world. The system is completely broken and inefficient. In finance teams, in most companies, spend over 40% of their time collecting and inputting data into spreadsheets. And actually, most of the people say that the biggest cause of this is that systems and tools don't communicate with each other. Like if you have your software, like your accounting software, like QuickBooks or Xero, and you want to export it and analyze it, you need to export it into an Excel, and then it doesn't update. You know, there's a lot of issues, and it's not just financial data. You're talking about marketing data and human resources data. None of this information talks to each other and communicates. What we've built is a solution that takes data from all different sources of the business's technology stack, centralizes it into a single place, and syncs it with models for analysis, keeps the data updated in real time, keeps reporting updated with live numbers, and also helps companies use all this data to achieve goals and helps them get financing in order to achieve those kinds of goals. You know, what we're really trying to do is reduce, you know, the time it takes for people to reconcile data in spreadsheets. We want people to create forecasts instantly and have much better scenario planning than just crunching numbers into a spreadsheet, and also use that data to give investors more insights into a company and opening up channels of capital to enable faster growth. It's a huge market. You know, there's a $100 billion total available market. I know these kinds of metrics, you investors see this stuff all the time. It's, you know, somewhat meaningless, but you have to have. But, you know, the response from our customers has been amazing. You know, we've launched our new product for about a month now in the market, and we already have some, you know, big companies and small companies, you know, like Uber and Jewel, and, you know, all the way from small companies like you know, accounting companies like Beyond Accounting. They're working with their small business customers. Some other CFO kind of, you know, advisory services are using our tools as well. But what we've learned is that there's actually a huge problem that's being solved and addressed, and we feel that our product is good for any kind of market size. You know, whether you're a large company or a small company, you know, there's different needs for different people. You know, finance teams, they're looking for efficiency gains. They're looking to reduce manual inputs. You know, outsourced bookkeepers are trying to use you know, technology to lower the amount of time they spend on each customer, increasing their profit margins. Founders are using want to use technology in order to they're using Genie right now to help them understand how they can grow their company, helping them how to automate their investor reporting, how to automate their data flows in order to get more growth capital, help them access more companies that are looking for data in order to find investments. And of course, investors themselves are using Genie to underwrite and track their investments. You know, they're asking their companies to sync their data automatically so they can feed into their own models. And this is just overall an immense efficiency gain across the board. We have a number of different packages, all the way from $20 US a month to $500 a month. Most of our customers are actually in the middle at $100 a month. They use a lot of these integrations. They're using a lot of reports, but more and more we're seeing them move into the $500 a month category as their data improves, because they're looking for more ways to finance their growth. And finally, you know, we have an experienced team. Most of us have been working together for 3 years, over 3 years now. Our company's been around for about 4 years now. We've got specialists in technology, specialists in banking, specialists in marketing. Myself, you know, my background is in entrepreneurship. And what we've really noticed is that this product resonates not just with our customers, but with us as entrepreneurs. You know, this is something we built initially for ourselves to solve some of our problems. And it's really cool and really exciting to see other companies starting to use our tool as well to help them grow and help them solve their own business problems. So yeah, I mean, that's our short pitch. I'm happy to receive any questions that anyone might have.
Thank you so much, Victor. I always love hearing your pitches because number one, you know, I love your team. To me, whenever I look at potential decks, I always look to the end. I always look at the team first, and then I look at like why they build what they do, and then how they do it, and then what they actually do. So the team is always, I think, a great slide to have, and to know that you have coverage in the different buckets whether it's operations, marketing, technology, execution, and that you have a founder who has a real purpose to doing this. It's not just another endeavor you try because you know you want to try something, but this is personally important to you. But I'm going to open the floor up too as well. Like folks in the class today, if you have any questions, feel free to turn on your video and ask them. Or if you like, you know, maybe you could post them in the chat as well. Because it's hard for us to get a founder to sign on and pitch to you, but we did it, and we want to make sure that you use this time wisely, that you have access to good founders and their experiences in pitching investors. So you can learn from them.
Yeah, happy to answer any questions. I know a lot of you are you all university students? Is that correct? I know some of you guys are interested in maybe opening a company or working for a startup. Happy to answer questions about, you know, jobs or, you know, starting, you know, right out of university as well, as I have some experience on that.
Hello, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Sure.
What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Ed. I actually found this issue because I also have the problem with all the financial like record. So I have a question, which is how do you make sure all the other some other platforms like Zero, like Stripe, your partners, they share the data with you, and how you make sure that the data are keep up updated. I think it's a difficult part in this business model because it's the technique is very is that the most harder is that the harder part of the business model?
Yeah, thank you very much for your question. You know, we have gone through many different products over the years. I know when we first pitched Erica, we were a personal finance, and we're getting data from the banks and putting them all together and helping people manage finance. What we found is that actually the business environment is much easier to get data, especially with more modern companies like technology and e-commerce. You know, they use online platforms like Google Analytics and Google Ads and Facebook Ads. So these platforms have APIs and they're available for free. So these companies like Zero, they want companies like us to build add-ons to integrate their data, because that means that more people stick with their uses, their company. So what we've done is we've basically only focused on companies that have a lot of coverage of data, like a lot of customers in many countries, and also a lot of ease in getting the data. You know, like we realized that what we were doing with the banks, you know, we're doing there's technological means that we got the data, but it was very expensive. And we were waiting for open banking in Hong Kong, and that's still not coming, right? So we decided we'll just go to where data is available. So I think when you're starting a business, you're looking at, you know, what is a possibility for you. I encourage you to look for easy things to do, easy wins, right? Like look for data that's available, look for companies that are openly sharing APIs. And that way you can feel safe that, you know, they're not going to try to cut the data or they're going to change their whole business strategy, because, you know, this is an intrinsic part of it. So that's how we have dealt with this problem. There's some questions on the chat I can answer. I know Emma asks, how do we find this pain problem? And actually, that's a very interesting problem. And actually, when after we were doing the personal finance product, we were trying to think about what else can we do that's similar. And we did a lot of interviews with customers. We did a lot of analysis, but actually what we ended up using is a methodology, a framework called Jobs to Be Done. And this is something that you can study more about, and I can give you some information, but it is a way for you to really understand what is the underlying job that someone is trying to do, right? So an example, there's a very common example is, you know, someone wants to put something on the wall in their house, right? And they get a drill, and actually they make the drill and they make a hole in the wall. They put the screw in and they hang the picture. And actually, the real question is, what is the job that person is trying to do? Is it to make the hole, or is it to hang the picture, right? So one thing to think about is when you're talking to people, like, what is the real thing they're trying to do? You know, so in our situation, we're talking a lot about data flows and data connections, but at the end of the day, people are just trying to, in reality, grow their business. They want to earn more money. They're looking for investors to grow capital. And yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, you have to think about what is the thing that people want really solved at the very end, and then you can work backwards on that. And there's a process, and there's a lot of interviews. I can go into more detail on that. I actually might be teaching a course on this. You know, I can share it with Erica. It's going to be with one of the other startups in Hong Kong, Accelerate. It's called How to, you know, build a product that people actually want to use. So that's something that you can join in. But actually, it's really about understanding the real underlying pain that people have and what the job they're trying to do. So that's something you can learn more about. We have another question from Johnson. How do you fundraise via Genie? Yeah, so that's a great question. And it's one of the big things that we've found recently is that companies, they have a big difficulty in getting money to start a business or to grow their business. Actually, starting is very hard, and you either need your own money, you need some of your friends and family to give you money, or you have like investors that trust you and help you give a start. But in terms of using Genie, what we found is that actually a lot of investors want to make investments in certain types of businesses, but they lack data. Some banks, for example, they need people to have collateral. You need to have money in the bank account. You need to be able to you know, feel the pain if you lose the bank's money or whatnot. But actually, there's a lot of businesses with a lot of investors that are willing to make an investment decision based on data. So if you have a business that's growing, if you have lots of sales, you know, if you have very good metrics when it comes to your advertising spend, there are many investors who will finance that. So a good example is if you have a company or a e-commerce store or an app or whatever, and you know that you are have so many sales that you cannot get enough inventory, right? The data can show you that, you know, that there's a possibility for more growth if you have more inventory. Or if you have very good marketing metrics, like if you know for every $1 of marketing money you spend, you get $5 back. They call that unit economics. If you have very good unit economics, an investor will just say, oh, I'll give you $1 million and I expect you to turn that into 5 million. And if you have a marketing track record, you can use data to prove that. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we're doing with Genie, is connecting the data and the companies with investors who will use the data to make a financing decision. Yeah, and those are the two questions there.
That's awesome.
Why him? Feel free to try our product. Yeah. Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
very much.
I mean, we'd love for you to maybe share with us when it's appropriate. We'll share it on the Cocoon Online platform as well. The course you're teaching with Accelerate, and we can all learn from you and Levine and the team as well. And I believe someone raised their hand. Will Shan, did you raise your hand? Did you want to ask a question?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay,
Hi, Victor.
go for it.
And I've got a question. Like, as Erica mentioned, the team is important. So I'm curious, how did you find your team members?
Oh, it's very difficult. I mean, it's many years of changes. Like, my co-founder is my cousin, actually, even though he's like, you know, him and I we both mixed, like Western Chinese. And so he looks like a Westerner, but he's like actually part Chinese. But like, we're cousins, right? So we see each other every day, and even on the weekend we go to grandma's house, you know, and then, but we've known each other for many years. In terms of the rest of the team, you know, our CTO, he's been with us for 3 years, but he was not the first CTO. You know, in fact, he was the third one, you know, and so, but once you find someone that's good, you want to keep them, right? Same with our marketing person. We have had many different marketing people. Once you find someone that's good and that's clicks, then you want to do whatever you can to keep them. And so I think finding is not an easy thing. You need to just kind of keep trying. When you find the right person, you just do what you can to hold on to them. You know, you have to give them shares or money or whatever you have to do. Just whatever you do, you keep them with on the ship.
I
Thank
couldn't
you.
agree with you more. People are probably the biggest and most important resource. Now, Victor, for the final wrap up of your presentation, would you like to share a tip with our class in terms of how to win an investor's attention? Like if there was one thing that they should really try to focus on to get an investor's attention, what would that be?
I think you got to be energetic and very excited, right? Because investors, most investors are more about how they feel about a product and how they feel about a company than about the actual product or about the company. And it's more about how they feel the company is going to go or what it will be, you know? So if you always feel like, oh, I don't have so much right now built, or I'm not a big team, I'm just graduated from university, you know, that will, and then your body language and everything is kind of like negative, you know, then it's never going to happen. You need to fully believe what you're building is worth not just your time, but your excitement. And then once people see that, then they will be excited as well, right? So that's why it's important for you to find a product that you find so exciting that you can't suppress your emotions and suppress your feelings about that. Once you can do that, you know, that's like the first step in being able to convince an investor. If they don't think you're excited about it, then they're not going to get excited about it either.
I love that. You won't believe how many investor meetings I've walked into where the founders did not have energy. And it always was a very big red flag for me because I was like, well, you're not passionate about it. Who's going to be? But before we transition to a team or class photo, I have two last questions. One from Hugh Lam from Buds Alike, and another one from Why Tam, who asked how you guys came up with the name. So let's go over to Hugh Lam first. Hugh, or Light, what was your question? Introduce yourself and your question.
Hello, I'm Michelle, and this is Hugh Lam, so from Buds Alike. I can't help but notice in the last slide that there are 5 people in the team. Actually, for our project, there are 6 people, so we actually got some questions from our investors, potential investors, asking, oh, you got 6 people, such a big team, how can you manage? So we're feeling like a little bit their questions because usually there are only like 2 or 3 people, so they feel like the communication would be better. So I'd like to ask Victor on if you have any questions from others on how you guys make decisions, or is more than 3 people is actually a problem to our startup?
Yeah. I mean, we have actually 15 people. There's only 4 or 5 managers in that slide, but we have like 15 people. But in terms of decision making, right? I think that's your question. The team is too big. The investor says, "Oh, how do you make decisions or whatnot?" I think so. What we do is we spend a lot of time writing, right? And we go through a process that we call like shape up, right? But basically, we have this is very esoteric. I'm not sure if it's helpful for you, but we basically write out different options of what we will do in the next 2 months. And basically, the engineering team will then decide like, oh, this will take this much time and this many people, and this task will take this much time, this many people. And then we sit there and we decide together, basically make a bet on what the company should commit on for the next 2 months. And so everything is written down. Everything is very clear. We send it out like 2 days before the session. Everyone writes comments and then there's changes and everything. So actually when we sit at the table and decide, everyone's already thought about it and discussed it. And that's how we make most of our decisions, especially for the engineering side, right? On what to build or what our product priorities should be. because for a small team, I don't know what investor you're talking to, but 5 people is, kind of normal size, right? Maybe, yeah. But like it's very, very important to make sure that everyone is aligned and everyone is like understands why the company is doing certain things. So writing things out is very important. I'm happy to, if you message me directly, I can send you some information about how we do things. It might not be the best way for everyone, but we found that actually writing things out, having discussions, and then making a solid decision is a good way to do it. And it doesn't mean you don't change your mind, right? You can always go back and say, oh, changing our decision here, that's okay, right? Everyone's doing their best at any given moment. So yes, I mean, it's tough, but you got to make it as easy as possible and as clear.
Thank you. It's really useful.
Yeah.
Victor, that's an awesome process. I'd love to learn from you. Like, if you have anything that you want to share, I'll take it, and then we'll also share it on the Cocoon online platform so everybody can have access to it and learn about how to shape up and write out sort of all the documentation before you get into meetings. There was one other question on the name of your business. How did you come up with the name Genie?
Yeah, I mean, the name Genie Gini is also the name for an economic concept called the Gini coefficient, which is a measure of income inequality, inequality in general, but mostly used in income. And when we founded Genie, we're very, our mission is really to help people understand their finances and improve their own life. Hopefully everyone can make more money and improve the Gini coefficient in Hong Kong. And it's really the real reason why we're doing this, right? Is we want to build tools to help companies and people grow. We want people to improve themselves. So it's actually very interesting because now we're doing some of the business side and also working with some investors on financing. Gini is also an important measure of in finance, right? In terms of whether an investment has high defaults or whatnot, right? So actually there's a lot of different use cases and different meanings, but for us, we named Genie after income inequality, which is the biggest problem we see in the world today.
Most definitely, and a very inspiring name. And before we thank you and wrap this portion of the session up, can we ask the whole class to turn on their cameras? We're going to take a class photo with our
And Victor can start
speaker.
sharing screen first.
Victor.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Perfect. And then we will send this back out so everyone will see this. May I take the screenshot?
Okay,
Right.
everybody ready?
Now smile, everybody. Let's see. We have a couple pages, so I'm going to turn it. I'm going to take a few more. Hold on a second. Okay. That is perfect. Thank you, guys. Victor, thank you so much for your time today. That was so valuable. And for those of you who want to review this, we will put this recording on the Cocoon Online platform as well, so everybody can watch this again. If you like, get connected with Victor. We'll share the link of Genie there as well. So
I put my email on the comment, so feel free to.
All right. Well, the audio. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you, Ginny. Thank you, Victor. Okay, so we're going to share with you a few more sort of we're going to share with you a few more housekeeping items that are really, really, really important. So hold on for 5 minutes before we wrap up today's session. So Nancy, if you can please share screen. And today, don't forget to create an account on the Cocoon Online platform. Look for the CityU logo and register there, because in the Cocoon Online platform, you will be able to see the class schedule, the Cocoon pitch template, and also share your work, all the work that you're going to create in the next few weeks. So you get feedback from the teams. Like, for example, if you came up with a name, or you came up with like 3 names or 3 one-liners, you could ask people to vote it up. Like, for the ones they like, they should vote on it. So that way you can get a little bit of usability testing going on as well. And here, Nancy, do you want to turn on your
Yes,
mic?
I do. So maybe you can pass it to me. So hi,
Okay.
everyone. I'm Nancy. I'm here to support this course as well. So I have a few things. First of all, for the attendance, I will need everyone to make sure you mark your attendance. So we have only put down the team representative name. So if you are under this team, simply get the tick under the column D, okay? So you may not find your name because if you were not the team leader, so we have only put down the team leader's name. So let's say if you are under Danny, and then you can put a tick over there. Okay, and second thing, I would like to show you our schedule. So this is very important. So right now the calendar link will send to the chat room. So make sure that you can subscribe to this calendar, and then we will put all the dates and information over here. So make sure that you check it out. So when you click or mouse over it, you will see all the details and the Zoom link. Okay, if we have any updates, we will put it over here. And of course, we will email you if we have any updates, okay? Third thing, for tonight, before I go to tonight's schedule. So let me talk about the community part. So I have seen many of you have already registered an account on our online community. So when you log in, suppose you will see the interface like here. So you can go to your left-hand side, and then there is a group. So make sure that you have requested to join the group. So far, we only have 31 members, so I believe some of you haven't. If you have not joined our group, make sure that you create an account and then go to your right-hand side group and then click request to join. Okay, I hear the sound, should have somebody requested to join. So I will approve you later. So when you click enter the room, so you will see many information here. If we have any updates, we will also post it here. So just now, Erica mentioned about the one-liner. You can comment under here. So roll down, you will see our post. So feel free to comment here, so we can see one post with everybody one-liner over here, okay? So you can cover your team name and then your one-liner. If you have think of what you're looking for, feel free to add it. If you have a deck, feel free to upload over here. So you can see there is a paperclip icon, so you can upload your deck over here. Okay, and we will post the course material and some useful link. Then you can click discovery, and we will post it here. Okay, and final thing is for tonight, all-night small group consultation. So that will be a doodle link. So let me share a doodle link to the chat room, and under the doodle link, so only team leader have to register the time slot. So we are assuming that you guys should have a discussion among your team to check which time slot is available to most of the team member. Of course, we recommend you all the team members come to join us, but if some of your team members cannot make it, doesn't matter, team representative join the session also works. So so far we only have 28 team registered for the time slot. Suppose we should have 80 something. So if you haven't registered the time slot, make sure that you register it. And among these days, you only have to choose one time slot, okay? These 3 days, the content is similar. So, but we are just providing you more options so you can arrange your schedule. So only register one time slot. So if you have registered 6 to 6:45, click the same Zoom link, and then we will see you at 6. And then when 6:45 finish sections, that's done. And then we will have that is done. And then this class content is finished. So Erica, you have anything to add? If not, then maybe you can tell them a little bit about our next class.
For this small group session consultation, what we want to do is hear about your idea or hear about your pitch. What we're going to do throughout the course is to hear your pitch, and then you guys ask questions. We'll give you feedback on things that you want to know more about, and also help you fine-tune your pitch. So that's our job. Nancy, Roland, and myself, what we're going to do is within this course, make sure we've heard your pitch a couple times, helped you refine it and get better and better. So by the time you go pitch for the grant, you are ready for it, or other investors down the road. And also a quick preview of the next class. Next week, we're going to be talking about how to define a problem. You know, how do you observe and dissect a challenge from a user's perspective? So Victor talked a little bit about that, right? Like how he came up with the problem, but ultimately how he looks at the problem from the user or the customer's perspective. So we're going to be talking about that in our next session. And I'm going to wrap up today's presentation with the final slide, which is the housekeeping slide that you guys can have access to all the links of the online materials, the class schedule, the Cocoon Pitch template. Go in and sign up today and share with us your one-liner and the business name and idea. And we look forward to hanging out with you guys again in the next class, and also meeting all of you kind of face-to-face in these small group sharings. Thank you for joining today. Nancy and I will stay back here for another 5-10 minutes for anybody else who wants to stay and ask questions. But for those of you who have taken everything you got today, we will see you at the next class. Bye.